Hey guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, and Superior Spider-Man issue number 6. This was probably the best Marvel comic that came out this week, in case you were wondering how I felt about it. All right, so we got Christos Gage on writing, we got Mike Hawthorne on pencils, Wade von Crawbacker, I'm doing the best I can, sorry, I'm a little sick today, on inks, Jordi Belair on colors, VC's Clayton Cowles on letters, Travis Charest on cover art. All right, and of course, Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created Dr. Octopus. Here we got a tale of two doctors. Man, we get the first time in, chronologically that Doctor Strange and Dr. Octopus have, Dr. Octavius have actually met each other, and they are perfect. We also get the second time that they've met each other chronologically, and they are perfect. I love, and even love this comic book. All of this was pretty much perfect. When you get into how Master Pandemonium was written, I feel like too short. This should have been a whole arc because he was written so damn well in this. I'd love to have seen Christos Gage's version of Master Pandemonium so much more in this particular title. The art in this, freaking believable. You're talking about drawing concepts, all right? How do you draw concepts? Well, here, you can get a good lesson in here. This was an incredible comic book. Now, in order, I always like to do my, what's one thing you didn't like about this otherwise perfect comic book? Okay, I can actually do that. But I'm going to have to forewarn you, it is going to be a spoiler for the last page reveal on here, which is actually a really incredible, potentially incredible reveal, and it also has to do with something that happens earlier in the book. So, yeah, if you haven't read this book yet, you can end this video now. I won't be insulted. And you've had enough time. Okay, so Mephisto appears. There's the good and the bad of this. There's the good that, Mephisto, coming up to deal with another Spider character. I was happy to see Mephisto dealing with Miles Morales in the Champions book, right? What do you call it? Mephisto came along and he had this issue with Damnation, right? He was a major character in there. That was like the whole premise, the main bad guy there. It was cool seeing Peter Parker punching him, saying, I don't know why, but this just feels so extra satisfying. That happened at one point. There's been a whole bunch of really cool things with Mephisto. And I feel that there should be an event with Mephisto. All right, that's how much I love this idea. There should be an event featuring Mephisto. Maybe call it Mephisto-verse. Some of you old school comic book readers, you OGs in the comic book world, you like Professor Bill. There actually was a Mephisto-verse. In fact, there were 4 issues of that, independent and together in and of themselves. Each issue was self-contained, while at the same time, they drew off of each other also. They were amazing. And they were. Granted, it seems like the comic book YouTube channels, I'm not trying to cast, a whole lot of shade, but a little bit. It's funny that the really big guys up there are the ones who sometimes make fun of comic books, and these are the guys who will actually insult these kinds of comic books, which makes me think sometimes they just don't get some of the higher concepts of what they're reading. All due respect, there's a reason why they're so much larger than I am. But, dirty little secret or not that, Comic Book University is, I thought that Mephisto-verse was the best ever representation of who Mephisto is. Better than anything I've read in Silver Surfer, better than anything I read in the pages of, the Infinity Gauntlet, better than anything I've ever read before. That gave us the best understanding of who and what Mephisto really is, and I loved it. They could potentially do that here. There could be a whole event featuring Mephisto, just Mephisto versus the spiders. You know what I'm saying? He's got this particular hard-on for going after the spider characters and taking their marriages or their whatever, they're going to go after for Miles Morales in the Page of the Champions. Whatever Christos Gage is going to have him go after with Otto here, this imitation spider totem of sorts. But I did say this was the one thing I didn't like about the comic book, right? Say something bad about the comic book. I feel that Mephisto is also kind of overdone right now, currently. I feel that there's every time we turn around in a comic book, Mephisto shows up. Now they had a chance to send Pandemonium to any of these hells. I would have been a whole lot more interested to see Satanish in this. You see Mephisto, it's like, oh shoot, it's Mephisto. You see Satanish, you're like, oh, what are they going to do here? That is, I think, the emotion that they should be trying to elicit from people reading this comic book. That I can't wait to see what happens next. As opposed to, oh, I get a good idea of what's going to happen next. No, I would love to see something like that. I would love to see one of the other Hell Lords, as opposed to just Mephisto again. They could have sent him anywhere, and they sent him to the most basic of the hells, like the most overused of the hells. This could still wind up being an amazing story. The comic book in and of itself, like I said, best Marvel comic I read this week. Hot damn. But that being said, I feel like that ending could have gone an entirely different way and just shocked the pants out of it. Instead of going for the shock factor, going with the whole, wow, I can't believe they went with whoever. It's like Nightcrawler's dead. It says Modius. It's just something along those lines. Anyway, guys, still a great book. And this could still turn into an amazing story featuring Mephisto at some point. He could just be that background video as opposed to the background enemy as opposed to the upfront enemy. We'll see. We'll see. This comic book, both the artistic value, the writing value, is in solid hands, trustworthy hands. Love this. Can't wait for the next issue. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.